everyone. This is April Garrett with Seniors Blue Book, and today we have with us our guest, Nancy Glicksman, who is the owner of Blue Peak Insurance. How are you doing today, Nancy?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you.
You too.
So let's just jump into it. So tell me a little bit about your background and how Blue Peak Insurance came to be.
Okay, well, it's an interesting story. I'm actually a clinical social worker by training, and I worked with children and their families, children with special needs and their families for about 22 years. And then when we relocated to the Pittsburgh area about 16 years ago, it was like, what do I want to be when I grow up? Because I got to the point where I worked with kids so long, and it was very frustrating because I felt like I was getting them to a certain level, and it was hard with some of the families that I was working with. So I was starting to reach burnout. So I was thinking, I don't think I want to do social work anymore, but I had my master's degree, and I ended up finding a job in insurance. I knew nothing about insurance. I didn't even know what a deductible meant. So I was totally clueless. And I had to go through an exam process, and I taught myself, all the different terminology and took my exam. And I have grown to love the insurance. And I feel like my social work background really helps me because I am so interested in educating my clients about the insurance. I want them to understand it. I try and advocate for them. I support them, which are all the social work clinical skills that I learned. So I brought it into this insurance industry. And I started Blue Peak Insurance about 15 years ago. I learned a lot from some general agencies. And after taking that knowledge, I decided to go off on my own. And I'm able to represent a lot of different carriers. So I focus mostly on health insurance, Medicare mostly. I do some small and individual. And I also do life insurance, long-term care, and disability insurance.
Wonderful. So what do you consider the most important aspect of your job right now?
So I really believe working with my clients. Sometimes I hate to say I'm an insurance agent because we get such a negative connotation, like, oh my God, those insurance agents, all they do is call us and pester us. I try not to be like that at all. What I try and do is stay in touch with my clients. If someone buys a policy from me, I'm not that kind of person. I write the policy and then I never talk to you again. I send emails on a regular basis. I send newsletters on a quarterly basis. And every year, at least once a year, I try and touch base to reevaluate to see if that's still the best coverage for them. So I think staying in touch with my clients and supporting them. A lot of my clients will call me with questions, and sometimes they're questions they need to call member services. But I think they feel comfortable with me, so they start with me and I let them know the process. The other thing I think that is very important is advocating. And I try and teach my clients, if a claim is denied, don't just let it go, fight it. And I try and help them learn to work the system and, speak up for yourself. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. Sometimes my clients now will call and say, we want an appeal. And I get like, oh, you didn't even tell me. You didn't let me do it with you. But they've done it for themselves, which really is the most important thing. So, and understanding their policy. I think a lot of times we have insurance, no one even knows what it means. Like if I go to the doctor, what am I going to pay? If I go in the hospital, what is my expense? I want my clients to know ahead of time. What are you responsible for? What is your maximum exposure? God forbid something catastrophic happens. And with Medicare, it's even more confusing with, understanding which plan to pick. And then you have what's called the coverage gap or the donut hole and understanding how to work with that. So I really feel like educating, advocating, and supporting are probably the three most important things I do.
Sure. So I know prior to COVID-19 that you were conducting seminars. Can you tell us a little bit about the seminars and if you plan on continuing those to offer them maybe even virtually online in the future until this lets up?
Yes. So I try and do 3 workshops a year. And usually in January, I have a woman from Social Security who is she's wonderful. Like, you don't even think of her as someone who works at Social Security. And she does a workshop. The workshops are always open to the public. I usually have them at Peter's Library. And she does a lot of information on understanding Social Security and how it works with Medicare. And then in May and September, I hold 2 educational workshops, just understanding what is Medicare, the different parts, how it works. I don't give any plan information. It's just general educational information. And I was supposed to have one coming up in the middle of May, which obviously will not be happening. So I am definitely considering doing a virtual one. I am a little limited with my tech skills, so I'm trying to expand. And in fact, our meeting right now is on the phone because I don't have a microphone on my computer. So once I can get everything set up, I am interested in doing a virtual one. And I'll just send emails to all my clients. I'll probably post it on my Facebook page at Blue Peak Insurance. And then if anyone was interested, again, it's just general educational knowledge.
So if they would like to be notified of the upcoming virtual seminar, is there a way to get added to your list? Can they contact
Absolutely.
you directly? Mm-hmm.
Yes. The best way would be to call me or to email me.
Do you want to rattle off your phone number? Yeah.
Okay.
Email?
So my phone number is 724-260-0341. And my email is N for Nancy, and then my last name, Glicksman, Glicksman, at bluepeakinsurance.com.
Perfect. And I also know that you put out quarterly newsletters. Is that what you said? So
Correct.
they can sign up for your newsletter either by emailing you or by calling you as well to be added, correct?
Absolutely. And I have a website, www.bluepeakinsurance.com, where I post my current newsletter. And I also have a newsletter archive section where you can access previous newsletters.
Oh, wonderful. So how else has your business changed with COVID-19?
So, I mean, it's sad. I'm getting calls constantly from people who are losing insurance because they're losing their job coverage. A lot of them are not Medicare age individuals, but they're just looking for other options because they can't afford their COBRA. It's so sad. And I am getting some individuals who are deciding to retire who are Medicare eligible, and they don't want to wait and see what happens. So they're starting to take the Medicare earlier. Mm-hmm. So we're doing everything by phone, which is very hard because I'm a visual person, as are a lot of my clients. And I have a huge whiteboard in my office, and I like to draw pictures and explain things. So it is hard over the phone. So the Zoom is definitely going to be something I'm going to try and master, because I think the more I can use a whiteboard on Zoom and show things, the better it will be, because I have been very busy, but obviously it's all been by phone.
I'm willing to help you with that.
We'll
figure it out together.
I'm going to take you up on it.
I'm getting to be like a pro now doing all these.
You should be a Zoom consultant. That could be your next line.
Little side gig. Well, is there anything else you'd like to point out with us today, Nancy?
No, I think one of the things that I'm learning, especially with all this Zoom and technology, is you're never too old to try new things. Like, I'm one of those people that never thought I would use this technology. So I think there are some seniors at home who are thinking, I can't do that. It is easier than we think it is. And there's a lot of guides to help point us in the right direction. So during this time when you might have extra time on your hands, you might want to play around and explore some of the technology that's available. And it also helps keep you connected, I think, which is so important.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And hopefully we can get together. We were just talking about doing a barbecue, so I hope that happens very soon.
That sounds good to me. You take care.
You take care as well. Thanks, Nancy.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.